Yields back, Ms. Bonamici.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations, Dr. King, on your nomination. I wish you an expeditious path through that process. I know today is budget and tomorrow is Every Student Succeeds Act, but I want to, for a moment, follow up on Ms. Wilson's comments about the Student Support and Academic Enrichment Grant Program. You know, we authorized $1.65 billion for these formula block grants, but the department budget requests only about 1/3 of that amount and also proposes making the grants competitive. The distribution formula was designed to protect against some of the concerns of consolidating programs, so I'm concerned about that. So I have a two-part question. First, can you talk about the disruption that could be caused by making these grants competitive? There's a lot of potential from these formula grants to sustain meaningful changes. And second, I appreciate the challenges of designing a budget that adequately funds programs, but I must tell you I'm currently circulating a letter to my colleagues urging their support in an attempt to fully fund this program at its authorized level. So are you confident that these additional dollars, if we are successful in that request, will be put to good use in our local school districts? So the concern about the disruption and will these dollars be put to good use? And I do want to save time for a higher ed question quickly.
Thanks for the question. I believe very strongly in the programs that Title IV is intended to support, whether it's school counseling or the work to ensure that school environments are safe and supportive, or the work to ensure that students have access to a well-rounded education that includes the arts and physical education, or access to advanced coursework like AP classes. So that's hugely important, and we think states and districts have the opportunity to make good use of those Title IV dollars. As I mentioned earlier, our proposal is an increase over the funding that was in the four prior grant programs in 2016, and so it is a significant increase. We think $500 million is a good start. Again, we were working, as you referenced, within the budget agreement caps. Certainly look forward to working with you on this question and with this committee as the budget process moves forward. The priorities behind Title IV are ones that we share. I think one of the challenges in administration will be ensuring that the grants are of sufficient size that districts can make good use of them to support exactly the intended programs.
I appreciate that. I've seen over my years, though, that the competitive grant process oftentimes puts smaller rural districts and underfunded districts at a disadvantage. Moving on to higher education, first in response to Mr. Salmon's comments on student loans, I want to remind him that Congress, we set the interest rate, so I know my side of the aisle is certainly willing to work with him and all of you on that side of the aisle to lower those rates so that the federal government isn't profiting off of repayment. So I also, like you, had student loans. I worked my way through college, and last Congress I introduced the Opportunities for Success Act. I'll be reintroducing to provide resources for low-income college students to participate in meaningful internships. So I'm really interested in the President's budget proposal for directing work-study aid to students most in need. So if you could address that, and also I wanted to mention a bipartisan effort I'm leading to give student loan borrowers the option to have their income information automatically certified for income-based repayment plans, and my hope is that the department will work with my office and the IRS to make it easier for borrowers to choose to have their loan payments automatically based on their income. So can you talk about your commitment to this effort, please, as well as that work-study aid issue?
Sure. So let me say that the challenge that we have as a country is for sure helping, one of the major challenges we have is helping students think through how to manage their student debt. It's one of the reasons we've been focused on the income-based repayment plans for direct loans so that we can cap the amount of money that students need to pay at 10% of their discretionary income so that students can manage their debt. It's one of the reasons we think it's so important to have good information for students at the outset about their options, about the cost of their degree, about their likely income when they leave a particular program. We are very interested in working with you on issues around work study. Work study can be transformative for students, both in terms of the ways that it helps them to make their way through college, but also work study is supporting students doing very important public service activities on many campuses. allowing students to really engage with community outside of their university. Many students can trace why they became a teacher or why they went into public service to experiences they had through work study. So hugely important program, eager to work with you on that, and certainly eager to work with you on how we make the income-based repayment program as efficient as possible and increase participation in that program as much as possible.
Perfect. Look forward to working with you. Thank you. Yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Gentlelady yields back.